Hello everyone in this YouTube world. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to my trauma. I made a fresh batch of cookies because we're about to get into it. I did a poll recently on my Instagram and so many people wanted this video. I'm gonna tell you about the best dates that I've been on. I will not be mentioning specific names or really specific details out of respect of the privacy of these individuals. There's a little bit of trauma in there. We have no idea what kind of trauma I will unpack whenever I tell these stories. I need a cookie before we get started. Like, oh my goodness. One of God's best gifts to the earth is chocolate chip cookies and a cup of milk. Unmatched. The first date I'm gonna talk about, it's actually a little bit embarrassing, but it gets really cute at the end. So I'm gonna give a little background on how me and this specific person met. So this was back whenever I used to work for a movie theater. I remember I was talking to one of the workers on the theater side. So I was considered diner staff. I was honestly telling everyone and anyone my business at that point in my life. I probably should have kept a lot more details of my life private at this point, but I was like, I need to find me someone. I need to find me a boy. Prom is coming up. I'm a senior in high school. Like, come on, people. We got to get the ball rolling. But I also was processing a lot of trauma. Let's just say 2018 was a really bad year for Tyler. Anyways, I got this guy's phone number from our mutual friend. And then we started texting. Where should we go eat? And I suggested Chewy's because it was one of mine and my best friend Kaylee's favorite restaurants to go to after school. This instance is just so funny to me. So we're going in, and who is the first person I see on my left as I walk in? Not only is it my best friend Kaylee, but it's her family with her, and I'm on this date with this new guy, and I'm just like, I'm on a date right now. We get seated. The host, I guess, miraculously sat Kaylee and her family right next to my date and I. They could hear our entire conversation. It was just a really funny situation because Kaylee has been involved in so many of my dating stories, so she will definitely be coming back up later in this video. The last one might be the one that gets me. Might be the one that gets me. Are we gonna explain the date or what? So we eat at Chewy's and the meals are like bomb.com. And then I don't know what it was, but whenever I was younger, my grandparents and we would always just drive through neighborhoods with big houses in it. And it was so fun to just look around the neighborhoods and just see all the houses, especially around Christmas time. That's what my date and I did after we were at the restaurant. So we just drove around in these houses. We were just kind of really deep in conversation. So we were in the downtown of the city that he lived in, and we were just kind of walking up and down the streets. We were just kind of talking about what we wanted, what we saw in a relationship. And then we got to the topic of prom. And then of course we were both like, let's go to prom together. Spoiler alert, that didn't happen. And this is one of my relationships that I go back on, and I really respect this person because there was no point in our relationship where I didn't feel like I wasn't valued. It was outside factors that really affected that relationship, but I still really care for and wish nothing but the best for this person. Actually, all of my exes now at this point, I'm just like, I wish y'all the best. Like, this guy, he was really one of the partners that I had that made me really realize what I saw in a partner for myself. And I just kind of wish that we met at a different time. We kind of came at a point at very different times in our life. There was something so special about him that I remember feeling the first night that I met him. And it was when we were both sitting on this bench, and I just remember we were just kind of sitting there and talking. And I just remember feeling like I feel so comfortable and at peace right now with this person next to me, because it's just such, felt like someone was actually interested in what I wanted to say, and I really hope that they're happy. So moving on, so this next day kind of feels like it's out of a John Green book. That's kind of where both of these last two stories go. They're kind of like that coming of age, heartstopper, love Simon, poetic-ish. I was dating this guy at the time, and I remember we were walking around this hospital hospital area, kind of like near the downtown, near where I live now. And we were sitting on this bench. Again, benches are just really a big exemplification of all of my relationships. I don't know why. I just feel such prominence towards benches. So that's a weird, a little fun fact about myself. He like had like this sort of poetic kind of way he spoke about things and about life. And that was something I was really drawn to about him. And he really just had a way with his words that just really hit differently, and it felt really real. I don't remember exactly how he said it, but he pretty much asked me if I were to write this moment in a book, let's say 5-10 years from now, how would I describe it? That is just such a deep question. Oh my goodness. One of the probably best questions I've ever been asked before in my life. It really lets you open up a conversation on where do you see yourself in the future, and kind of how do you view yourself currently. And me and this guy, we ended up not working out. I wish this guy nothing but the best. I will say that relationship was really awesome. It was really interesting to go into a relationship at, I believe I was 21 years old at the time. It was just kind of strange kind of going through that dynamic and dating in my age after kind of what I went through the years prior. Like I mentioned earlier, 2018 was a really rough year for me. I would say 2018 and 2019 were probably the roughest years of my life. A lot of stuff that I really just let pile up and I didn't actually process until 2018 and 2019. And that's whenever the ball kind of dropped on a lot of things that were very important to me. And then all of a sudden I had a total culture shock moment, and it was just kind of, I was trying to pick everything up, but instead I started over. And I think that was the best way I can describe coming out of a lot of the trauma that I went through. So this next one, this one's kind of the hardest one for me to talk about, and it's just because this person is very special to me in my life and has made me learn a lot more about myself. I think I've really come to process this whole relationship, and there are a lot of moments I'm really grateful for, and this moment is probably one of the pinnacle moments I think that I remember being young and in love. So I pretty much met this guy online. I just gotten cheated on my past relationship. That's a whole other story. But anyways, so I was again with my best friend Kaylee, and we had planned to go to my work that night because I got free movies. I would see a lot of movies at the movie theater I worked for. Well, it turns out that the guy that I had like recently been in conversation with, him and his friends were actually going to be at the same movie theater at the same time that Kaylee and I were. So I was just like, oh, I'm meeting this guy that I've been talking to for like a couple weeks now, and oh my goodness, and I feel butterflies with this dude. So it's just like, okay, Tyler, it's go time. Actually, I don't have this. I feel like I'm gonna vomit. I have no idea what I'm gonna say. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. So remind you, I was definitely very young at this period in my life. I will just say, like, this is just a big like young love moment, specifically this night in itself, because it really it felt like such a moment out of a movie, and I was so happy that I was able to live in that moment. And that's definitely one of the moments where I felt like I was the most alive. But yeah, so pretty much how it happened. So I was sitting at my job. So I was in the restaurant in this movie theater, and I remember I was sitting at this like milkshake bar with Kaylee sitting right next to me. And then all of the sudden, two people walk in and sit down next to me, and they ended up being the best friends of the guy that I was talking to. And they were just kind of like, he's kind of nervous. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that is the cutest thing ever. I'm also dying on the inside. He like walks around me kind of like Michael Myers in Halloween 1978. He literally just floated behind me, and I was just like, okay. And then he sat down next to me, and I remember he just had this big smile, and I was just like, oh my goodness. I was just immediately drawn to him. I think this person is very special in the grand scheme of my life story and kind of my more transformative years. There are definitely moments from this night I really reflect so positively on, because it's those moments where I felt the most happiest and I felt like I was on cloud 9. So then our movies are about to start, and so we get up, we go grab our tickets, and then we go get popcorn. And then this man puts his arm around me. me. And he asks me, as we're walking up to the ticket kiosk, this literally sounds like a moment out of a rom-com movie. So he asks me to be his boyfriend, and I was just like, absolutely, let's go. We literally get our ticket stubs into the usher. The usher literally points us at 2 opposite theater hallways on the opposite ends of the theater. So we literally pulled a whole and then like we like looked at each other, looking off like, goodbye. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I cannot wait to talk to you. And I remember I was just thinking about him the entire movie. I want to do something special for this man before he leaves, because we lived like a little bit over an hour away from each other. So seeing each other was kind of more of a hassle. So my best friend Kaylee and I, immediately after the movie, because our movie was only about like an hour and a half long. So we left the movie theater. We went to go get these animal cracker milkshakes from this one ice cream place. And we came back and I was just like, I need to do something special. So I texted him. I was like, hey, whenever you get out of the movie, meet me outside. I have something for you. I remember this was like the moment I was like, okay, this is going to be my moment where I get the first kiss that I wanted, because I had my first kiss kind of like forced upon me. So I really wanted to take ownership. Like, this is the first time I really want to like kiss someone and me initiate it. It was a really pretty night. It was May. The sky was like orange and purple. You could see the stars, you can see the moon. It was such a pleasant night. The temperature was beautiful. And so we're literally standing outside. The marquee is on, all these lights, beautiful lit up area. He comes out, so what do you have for me? And I kissed him. I was brave for that, because it's not necessarily socially acceptable to be gay where I live. So that was big. I literally just was like, screw it. If someone has something to say, this is my man's now, and I'm happy. And then we had to say goodbye, and then I ended up seeing him 3 days later, and our relationship had blossomed. Thought you were my fairy tale for the first time in forever. Do I have anything else to say? I think that's all I have to say about these dates. So if you guys want to hear more of my dating stories, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like this YouTube video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Then make sure you give me a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at TyTyWhitehead. As always, I love you all. I will see you guys in my next video. Good night. I'm gonna drink some milk. Ooh, let's do like a cheers. Can we do like a cheers with like milk and cookies? I'm like chomping. I'm chomping down on this cookie right now. Click. Do that. Yeah, okay. And that's how it's done.